everyone for showing up. Oh, okay. All right, we're recording. We're good. So, so thank you everyone for showing up today. I want to acknowledge you for showing up on a Sunday, right? Giving up your time. And I'm so glad here. And if you're watching this on replay, I'm grateful that you're here, you're watching this. So today I'm going to go through incredible information that will get tremendous value. I want you to get tremendous value, which you will, but you need to play full out and participate. That's what we learn, how we learn. So, and I'll be laying the foundation for you to have a start having this new thinking going forward today and show you how to unplug from matrix, right? Secrets to develop $1 million mindset. From childhood, we're trained to use our conscious mind, our conscious brain, which is 5% power, right? That's the 5% of our power. And today I'm going to go through my framework and you're going to be able to tap into that 95%, which is the subconscious mind. So with that, let's see if I can advance to the next one. Okay, do you see fun fact? I'm making sure you can see it. Okay, great, great. So I'd like to open up with something, fun for everyone in the group. I'm going to share a fun fact about myself first, but I would love to see in the chat if you can share something about yourself that maybe most people don't know about you. And if you can't think of anything, maybe just, comment about something about real estate when you started, maybe when you started your journey, if you want to share that with everybody. And for me, fun fact is this, this looks like actually that's a daring kiss, right? I had with a giraffe. It looks like a kiss. This is in Nairobi, Kenya, when I visited there a few years ago. Actually, it's not a kiss at all. So you place these pellets in your lips and giraffes come in and really interact with you, pick them up. And what's really interesting is that you don't even feel it. So you may think, oh my God, it may be just, slimy or something, right? But I don't know how they pick it up, but they pick it up without even touching your skin or your lips. So it's really interesting how they do that. And it's a really great experience to have. I really miss being there. So in the chat, drop down, what's something unique about you or experience you had that nobody maybe knows about you. Let's see what you got. Let me see if I can see the chat. I think I have the chat here. Oh, somebody said, aloha, aloha, my friend. I love it. Hawaii. Yes. My training actually comes from people in Hawaii. My real estate journey, December, super rewarding so far. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Fun fact, Walmart commercial in sales. Yes. Oh my goodness. I love that. Got to meet living Saint John Paul. My goodness. Wow. Wow. What a trip that might have been. TV commercial. Oh, did a TV commercial. Awesome. Awesome, Douglas. I love that so much, so much. I love the energy, by the way, in this room so far. I love the energy. Heavy metal head. Yes. That's a different conversation, Trevor. Appeared in Food Net. Oh my goodness, Andrew, that's amazing. Wow. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Thank you dropping down your unique, what's unique about you, what's fun. So much, richness in this group. I'm so excited to be here. So let's dive into it. Let's see here. So quick intro. I always like to start with the intro because I'm going to go through some information today, and I don't want our conversation to end here. I want to continue the conversation because I'm going to be really going through a lot of information today, and you may be like, oh my goodness, like, I have questions. Maybe we don't get to answer them at the end. Whatever the reason, I really will love to continue conversation. I offer a 1 hour strategy session, absolutely free, and it is not a sales call. Okay, it's not a sales call. So my name is Sue Bodine, and I'm a business coach. I help real estate entrepreneurs who feel stuck in their business and know that mindset is critical to their success to create financial wealth. I'm a founder of Success Brain Program. I have over 20 years experience in coaching and leadership, working for top 500 Fortune companies. And I have incorporated into my studies everything from neuroscience to metaphysics to human psychology. And of course, I've included NLP. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And that is part of my process and framework when I coach clients, and what I'm about to share with you, that includes that as well. And importantly, most importantly, I'm on a mission to empower entrepreneurs just like you, solve problems. And I truly believe that to be able to see the change in this world, helping you is the way to do that. So you are the change. So that's why I'm here. And I'm glad that you're here too. All right. So I truly believe that our story is our gift. But I did not have this understanding most of my life. I grew up with divorced parents, was sort of, it was a very painful process. I was really young, and I was forced to stay with my alcoholic dad. I was around 6 years old when my parents got a divorce for the second time. And my dad's drinking got worse. That was a dark season with lots of mental and emotional and physical challenges that came with that. Criticism was plenty and money was always scarce. And I left home when I was 16 years old and worked in many different places. Growing up, I was brainwashed to believe that I need to get good education, I need to get good job, and then I can live that good life, right? That's the dream life. And spent a lot of money along the way on traditional education, got into debt. Maybe you're resonating with this. And I had no clue about financial literacy, literally. Like I didn't even budget myself. I had no idea. And this conditioning that that I need to put my money into savings and 401ks, right? That we all thought that's the financial security. That's the conditioning, right? So, and we don't know that that's not the truth at all. And, that conditioning comes from our environment, our parents, families, teachers along the way, the different phases of our lives. And most of my life, I lived from paycheck to paycheck and really dreaded Sundays because I know I had to go back to work Monday. So I tried different businesses and still nothing, because I did not identify myself with being an entrepreneur. You see, I have 0 entrepreneurs in my family, so it was a foreign concept for me. And later, that conflict surfaced in many areas of my life, and I spent my entire life struggling to figure out why is it that I can't make any money and achieve financial freedom. And didn't realize at the time, but I did not believe in myself, and I had no confidence that I could create wealth. So all of these struggles really led me to one conclusion. I needed to change something about my life, my beliefs, my thinking, and my emotions. And that was the catalyst that for me to start learning about going to workshops, learning about law of attraction. Maybe most of you familiar with that. Watch the movie Secret, start reading books and listening to Napoleon Hill and Tony Robbins. And that was 12 years ago. And throughout that journey, what I learned is that we create with our thoughts and emotions, and we become what we think about. Wealth is structural, not personal. After learning and practicing so many different things, I went on to really study mind, body, soul connection, opening third eye, chakras, meditation, breath work, NLP. And finally, I had a breakthrough. And through that process breakthrough, which is the framework, the process I work with my clients on, I experienced it first. And I was like, oh my God, I released all my limiting beliefs and negative emotions. And up to that point, I practicing all those different modalities, I was not getting where I wanted to get to. And that was the breaking point for me. Really rewiring my brain. That's what allowed me to do, really rewire my brain, get rid of all that stuff, the baggage that I had, and really have that rapport with my subconscious mind. And that, my friends, that opened the door to wealth creation for me. You see, most of my life, I felt like I was not good enough. When I had my breakthrough, the quality of my mind, my life changed at a quantum level. And that's why I am so passionate about empower entrepreneurs and help them eliminate their self-doubt and create the financial wealth that they deserve. When you change on the inside, everything changes for you on the outside to reflect that change. I want to share with you what I've learned over the 12 years. So buckle up, right? Pay attention, take some notes, ask questions. This is going to be a great session. So what I'm about to share with you here is fundamentals. So as I mentioned, I incorporated my studies, everything from neuroscience to metaphysics and human psychology, even wisdom teachings. So everything really boils down to this. Top of the figure here, you see a vision. So you need to be very clear on how life intelligent design you so you can bring forth your greatness. This is about your evolution as a human being, understanding how everything is connected so that you can do what you're here to do. As Napoleon Hill talks about definite purpose, right? Well, this is where that comes from. And most people make the mistake just creating business vision. When I work with my clients, they come to me and are like, oh yeah, I have this and this and this. I have this vision for my business. Awesome, right? But they're missing a crucial part of it, which is that business vision is actually very interconnected with your life and your spiritual vision. Number two is burning desire. Napoleon calls this the starting point of all achievement. Everything starts with a desire, doesn't it? And that desire, what keeps us all going, that energy that fuels our vision, that burns infinitely. And resourceful states we're going to look at today. I'm going to cover that today. And then number four, of course, last one here, action plan, but not any action plan. We all have action plans. We all try different things, but the action plan really works that actually aligns with your values, your identity. I talked about identity earlier in my story, if you picked up on it, and your habits. All right. So there are so much research about this, neuroscience, biology. I mean, you can search this and find more information if you like, but I'm going to share with you today why this is important. So resourceful states of being, there's two states of being. And if we need to understand that, we want to change our thinking, we need to understand what these are. So resourceful states of being are states that feel good, like hope, gratitude, compassion, peace, calm, curiosity, right? All of those things. Not an exclusive list, obviously, but states of being feel good. Survival states are states of being feel bad, like anger, jealousy, worry, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, disappointment, right? So what's important is that you're always in one state of being or the other. You can't be in both states of being at the same time. And there is no judgment whether we are in resourceful state or survival state, but everything you want to create from resourceful state of being. Resourceful states map to parasympathetic nervous system. That's a resourceful state that when you're calm and when you're surrendered, you're rested, you're relaxed, you're creative, you're intuitive, you're energized, right? This is where you want to take action from. When you're in survival state, you're in flight or flight, which means that your sympathetic nervous system is activated. When your sympathetic nervous system activated, you don't have access to creativity. What that means is you can't solve problems, right? And studies show that and confirms that you don't have access to critical thinking. Your mental faculties are impaired. So important. And because what we discovered is that this is so important, the only thing that causing you to move into survival state, the only state causing the stress, anxiety, overwhelm, boredom, anger, the experience you're having and the meaning you're giving to that experience, because your emotions affect your sympathetic nervous system and you keep going in and out of survival state. And until you make unconscious conscious, changing thoughts alone do not create the results that we want. So in resourceful state, you close that gap, right? Are you with me so far? I want to see some hands. I know I have only like 4 people on the camera, so I can't see everybody's hand, but I'm hoping you're following along. All right, all right. So now that we know survival state is so important to our productivity, to creativity and problem solving, the question presents itself. Okay, so how much time are we really spending in survival state, right? Worrying and stressing. Drop in the chat. Let me see. Let me see how much, you know, there's no judgment, you know, just whatever that count, you know, you think that average you're spending a day. Drop in the chat for me. All right. I don't see anything yet. All right. 5 to 8%. Put it hours. Hours is, I think we can all kind of calculate, right? So 2 hours, 8 hours. Oh my goodness. Crash on. Okay. 3 to 4 hours, 4 hours plus. All right, Trevor. Okay, great, great. 1 hour. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So average is 4 hours a day, right? For people that don't have the tools and the processes that I teach my clients, the average is out to 4 hours a day. So let's do some math here because we're all investors here, right? Business owners, we like to quantify things. So let's do that. So 4 hours a day, that's 28 hours a week, right? That's over 10,000 hours a year. 10,000 hours a year. And that's average 4 hours. If it's more than that, you do the math, right? What can you accomplish with 10,000 hours a year? Wow, right? So as entrepreneurs, we have this roller coaster that's costing us. That's so important to understand that, because if you don't realize what's costing you, you can't come up with a solution, which is next I'm going to share with you. All right. So here's some tools that I'm going to give you. Walking away today, you can implement today. Maybe you're doing some of them. And this is, you might have heard it from Tony Robbins. I have my own flair in their breath. I'm going to talk about breath because I did a lot of work around that. So anytime that we want to change our state, we can use any of these and all of these. Physiology is one of them, right? So we want to take tension out of our body and put it something that's productive as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. By moving around, we're resolving, releasing, and redirecting that energy, right? That bubbling up inside, right? So we can regulate our biology, psychology, biochemistry by doing this. And if you look at high performers, they figured this out, right? You can see Tony Robbins and how he manages his body, what he does. And athletes, you can look at athletes, what they do, how they're managing their emotions, because the way we use our body affects our emotional patterns, okay? And this is also, a lot of people don't talk about this, but this is also how you take care of your body. Do you get enough sleep? Do you watch what you eat, right? We can't eat junk food and expect to perform, right? So it's all connected, body-mind connection. So focus, right? Write this down. Focus equals feeling. So whenever you focus on, you're going to feel more of. Is that true? You experience that? When you get, triggered by something, you're like, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. And you keep focusing on it, it gets intensifies, right? We all experience it, I'm sure. And if you do that though, what's going to do for your psychology, your physiology? You're gonna feel more frustration. You're gonna feel more worried. So here's the thing. There's always going to be things that we can't control, right? And there's always things that we can control. So then what we need to do is focus on what we can control and be in the present, be grateful for what we have, and anticipate the future. And the third one is words and meaning. So you speak to yourself internally as well as we speak out loud when we talk to other people. Write this down. How you talk to yourself determines how you operate in the world. How you talk to yourself determines how you operate in the world. And so the quality, then what we say ourselves is so important. And not only that, but I want to go deeper. So the quality of what we ask ourselves, because brain is a search engine, right? It's like Google. It can type stuff up and it spits out something for you depending on what you ask. So if you say, why do bad things happen to me? Instead of, what can I do better my situation? What action steps can I take to make this situation work for me? You're more likely to feel powerless in your own life if you go the first, if you ask the wrong question, or low quality questions, I call it, right? Quality of your questions is so important. And how you use language determines what emotions you feel, right? You ever experienced that? Choose wise words, right? So to speak to yourself, that conversation's forever, right? You can have a conversation here with someone and walk away and maybe, avoid them, not to have conversation again with that person. But the conversation you're having with yourself, that's forever. You can't get away from that. So that's so important. And then number 4 is breath. So I did a lot of breath work and I use it all the time. It's my daily practice. And in my opinion, no matter what the situation is, at least you can do is tap into our breath. Like, for example, physiology, let's say that you're stressed or you have anxiety being in a plane. Well, you can't tell people, I'm just going to unbuckle and do some jumping jacks, right? It doesn't work that way, right? But breath, you can do anywhere. Right now, you can just tap into your breath and nobody would know, right? You're stressed, and the key is, we're told, oh, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. That's not the key. The key is how the frequency of those breaths. So I recommend doing 6-6-6. 6 breaths, 6 seconds, breath in, hold for 6 seconds, and then out for 6 seconds. Okay, so you see how that frequency, how I'm doing that, controlling that breath. Navy SEALs use box, B-O-X, box breathing, right? 4-4-4-4. You can look up on Google. And the reason breath is so important also is that through your breath, you're resetting your autonomic nervous system, which then enables what? Your resourceful states, right? We talked about that. And breath also has the ability to raise your immune system. There's so many byproducts of working with breath. So I highly recommend looking into that. All right. So I'm going to give you a framework here that pretty much changed the way I look at everything. And this is metaphysics, neuroscience, all combined into one. So it's very exciting to know how everything's connected. So starting with results. When we look at results, we kind of measure, are we producing the results or not producing the results, right? So what do you think that one thing that produces the results? Drop in the chat for me. I want to see that. Let's play a little bit of game here, see who gets the prize. What do you think that what produces the results? Just any guess. There's no wrong answer here. Focus, okay. Consistent action, there you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Action, 10x, you. Somebody likes the Grand Cordon here, Trevor. All right, yeah, action, right? So when we take action, there's a, we can see that, if you want to lose weight, we can go to the gym, right? Or diet, produce that weight loss. That's correct. So you take actions. Okay, let me see. It doesn't advance for me. Okay, so by taking action, then we're looking to see if we're producing that result. And so when you're taking action, though, there's one thing, one force, one energy that producing that particular action, and that is your emotions. If you're feeling that you're about to do something and you're feeling it's not gonna work out anyway, you feel failure, all those internal things kicking in, beliefs kicking in, are you gonna do the thing? No, right? Or are you gonna do it, but it's not gonna be optimal, right? And one thing that produces emotions, biochemical cascade of neurochemical and biochemical, those messages being fired and sent to your cells in your body, and that's your nervous system sending those, is your thoughts. What we think when we think about something, that determines our emotions. So what produces thoughts then? By moment basis. Because you can take two different people, put them in the same circumstance, right? They'll be thinking two different things. You ever experienced that? Right? So that's your belief system, right? Our belief system then is the root, where thoughts are determined, then thoughts dictate our emotions, then emotions dictate our actions or inactions, and that produces the results. And those results then perpetuate the belief. So it's really important. And I want to just point out something here that is very important. So today we're looking at beliefs. There are levels to our beliefs at the subconscious mind. We have beliefs, we have our values, and we have our identity. These are all coming from our subconscious mind. But I want to kind of highlight beliefs, right? So beliefs established, I asked my questions like, okay, where do beliefs come from? So they're established before age of 7, before prefrontal cortex formed, our executive center right here, right? The beliefs like money is hard to make, can't trust people, right? If you want to done something, right, you got to do it yourself. Like we entrepreneurs feel that way, right? Sometimes. And all that stuff, 80% of that stuff we learn from our parents, and meaning we give to our experiences. All that's money blocks, that they come from our identity, our beliefs. And then I give you an example. For me, when I had my breakthrough, I was like, oh my gosh, like why can I make money? Like I did all the things. I did raise my frequency, vibration. I did the third eye opening, like all these things I worked on. What's the deal here? Like, why can I do something? And what I find out was that throughout that process, breakthrough process, was that my identity was in conflict with what I was trying to create. So what's so wild about it is that I realized, oh my God, all these beliefs are formed at a time that we don't even remember, right? Because 0 to 7 years of age. So in essence, what I'm saying, highlighting here, is that there's beliefs that you know about, and there's beliefs that you don't know about, right? So let's go to the next one here. So this concept that I'm talking about, but the framework maybe you haven't heard. It's been talked about over, I don't know, centuries, years and years, right? Buddha said, mind is everything. You think what you think you become. Gandhi said, a man is but a product of his thoughts, what he thinks he becomes. Then Henry Ford, of course, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And Confucius, the man who says he can and the man who says he cannot are both correct. So this conversation has been going on for a while, right? And these framework I share with you, the 5 drivers, that is not a bad thing, because some areas of our lives we're achieving results, then that means we have empowering beliefs, right? But the areas of our lives that we're not achieving what we want, then we need to go back and say, oh, okay, why this is not achievable for me? What is the block? It's not because of strategy, because I've seen people get in the training program and buy the software and do all kinds of things. And then they come to me, I was like, Sue, nothing is working, right? Because I've been there, I know. All right, so this is just I want to summarize for you guys. I don't have time to get into emotions too in depth today, but I want to kind of summarize, right? So we talked about beliefs, changing our thinking. And when you see this particular information, you can see that changing our beliefs is important, but it's not enough. You have to release those emotions that is blocking what we want to create as well. I worked on my beliefs and till I realized, okay, I need to also release my negative emotions. That nothing really totally connected for me, and started getting the results that I wanted to get. And that's why I certified in the process. I was like, oh my God, I gotta help others with this, because it's just such a powerful experience, and tool. So everything that think about also is that when you think about emotions, I want you to go back in your early age. Something you have experienced. This is emotion. I'm talking about strong emotions, not just you go to a restaurant and you say, okay, I had a really bad experience, right? You have a bad emotion attached with that memory. I'm talking about strong emotions that attach to your experience growing up. Like myself, growing up with dad that was alcoholic. I'm going to share with you shortly that, one of the experiences, it was emotionally so charged that later on, showed up many areas of my life. I didn't realize that till I had the breakthrough. So emotion is important. And Warren Buffett, like we all follow Warren Buffett, if he says, if you can't manage your emotions, you can't control your money. So this is so important because we're all emotional beings. And when it comes to real estate, we deal with lots of money and that comes into play. So it's tremendously, it changed the game for someone, knowing that how to manage or release those emotions, it blocks what you're trying to create. Okay. So so far, I've given you so much information. So right now I want to take that and maybe practically put into use for us, okay? So what I'm about to do is I'm gonna walk you through some questions, but before we do that, I'm gonna set it up for you. And I just wanna kind of feel into it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to like, oh, what do I do? Or what kind of answers, just relax into it. And it's meant to be just a quick exercise for us to kind of like, I said, rewire your brain. This is the example of that. So let's say we are looking at your current reality and you have desired reality, right? If your current reality is now moving to desired reality, and let's say there's nothing in the middle, right? Nothing blocking it, like we talked about that breakthrough where you can actually remove everything in between. If you don't have that process, then there is nothing moving, then could it be that you want to create, for example, successful business, and to keep your successful current, and you also want to keep your successful marriage or relationship, but your unconscious mind is so scared to have that successful business because the way you have the successful marriage is only possible with your current reality. It's kind of like almost, your brain is like, whoa, what did you just say, right? So, for example, I want a successful business, but if I do, that means that I have to work hard to keep it, and I don't have time for my kids and family. Now, this is not so much conscious, but it's unconscious, right? That's going on. Does that resonate with you? Right? If you work so hard that you have to give up something to get to somewhere, right? So that's what we're talking about here. So let's get to the question. So I'm going to ask you this question. You don't have to write it down because you're going to have the recording, and I'm going to send you the questions at the end to your, if you want to have the questions. So you don't have to write it down, but I want you to close your eyes. And if you can, it's more effective that way, but you can keep it open. I want you to just kind of take a deep breath in and just exhale out. Ease into these questions. So what is it that your unconscious mind is afraid of letting go to have what you're choosing to create? Sometimes when things don't change, despite the learning, intervention, coaching, right? Sometimes there's unconscious objection that says, if I was to have that, there's this over here that my current reality that I have to lose, that I value. How do I shape reality of my choosing? How do I shape in a way that I choose it because it's a belief or a rule structure that says I can only have it this way? So unpack this a little bit more. This is a question. So what is a choice you love to create that's not moving? What is something you love to choose and for whatever reason it's not moving? And if you were to have that, what would having that do for you? Now imagine you're there, you have it, step into it, feel it. What would having that do for you? You know, X amount of dollars, beautiful home, spending more family, freedom, more time with your family, with your friends, travel. What would that look for you? And where, when, and with whom you're doing this, right? So important. Very specifically though, who do you really want to have it with? And following question is, how will you know when you have it? How will you know when you have it? Is it the money that you see in the bank account? Is it that house you walk in and you're like, yes, I have it. Everything just lined up. Everything happened the way you wanted. How will having this affect significant people and situations in your life? It can affect positively and negatively. And if you get financial freedom, that affects your kids, your spouse, your friends. And someone close to you maybe becomes, jealous, or person can now, somebody in your family can go to school, pay that off. Or will someone be able to just maybe retire? How does it affect people in your life? And it's always positive, negative, because it's law of polarity. There's always that two sides of everything, right? We don't think about that usually. And notice when you're asking these questions, notice how you might feel when you're witnessing and you're receiving. What is that you're achieved? Right? So make millions of dollars, affect your spouse, for example. There's always that positive, negative. There's always the result. What is that result? Because unconsciously, you know it's going to change dynamics around us, right? We actually value. And so what you might lose, that if something needs to be admitted, I think, Christina, I'm seeing it here. So what you might lose that you value if you were to have this great outcome? And are you willing to and able to give up how you've been and create a new way of being? That question alone is just so powerful. So what needs to change, right? That's what we're working on. So consciously, we may be aware of some things, but unconsciously, that is the key. Tapping in that unconscious mind, what's blocking you, right? That's the exercise. So, and I touched on this, 0 to 7 years of age, that's where our values are formed, our belief systems are formed, our identity are formed. And in unconscious, that's not actually, unconscious mind is here to serve you. And it says, okay, you have a strategy, you have this belief, it's protecting you, so I'm going to hang on to it. I'm going to show you more of that. So you start believing certain things 0 to 7 years of age. Later on in life, you're like, oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. So it's showing up. So it's like crystallized now, right? That's why it's so hard for some people to change. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. So I'm going to outline, and this is in the document I'm going to send you guys, but what are the steps then, right? What do we make change? What are the steps for that? So we're going to choose, so you're going to choose what you want to create. That's the first step, right? Then I want you to step into how you feel, emotions, right? Step into that feeling. That's a step 2. And then measure how I'm feeling compared to before, right? And then step 4 is unpack that resistance, because when you get into your feelings, you will feel the resistance, okay? Combination of your beliefs and your emotions. You see how everything's coming together? Okay, so you're going to unpack that resistance, change the belief. And in the document I'm going to send you, I have outlined a process that walks you through that, create a new belief. And then you're going to take aligned action. A lot of time we take action and then we're like, okay, well, I'm taking action. I'm working so hard, right? That was me. I'm like, I'm working so hard, doing everything. What's wrong? Right? But the key is you need to take aligned action. So these are the steps. All right. So I want to closing. I want to share with you something that's very personal. So most of my life, I felt that I was a product of my environment, my parents. And honestly, I felt like a victim, right? Because so much happened when I was growing up. I was like, oh God, like, this is the reason. This is what happened to me. And struggled, to create quality relationships and wealth and for myself and for my family. And one night, I want to share with you, one night, we were sitting around the table. I was young. I don't remember exact age. And my dad was drinking again. And he got angry about something. I don't think it was really something big, something small. It could have been just maybe something I said. And he lost total control. And there was a steak knife on the table. He grabbed the knife and grabbed me by the hair, and he put the knife right against my neck. And I was like, in the front of my eyes, like my whole life just flashed. Like I was like, okay, this is it. This is the moment. I'm saying, like I'm done. Right? I thought I was going to be done that night. And I know now, I mean, I couldn't even talk about this experience before, but thanks to the breakthrough, right? I know now, I understand things in a really grand level. I understand that was the alcohol. I'm not making excuses, but I have forgiven him. I don't live there. I understand the purpose of what happened, but also the impact that it had on me, that all the things that after dominoes, right? Like things happens and then everything in your life, you're seeing evidence of what you believe about yourself. And like not feeling abundant, not feeling love and finances, obviously, we talked about that, right? So we all have stories. This is why I'm sharing this with you. We all have stories and they're running autopilot. Change your story, change your life. So powerful. And the things I learned and apply to my mindset. I mean, I've been working on this for 12 years now, and when I work with my clients, they get the shortcut, right? That's so amazing. They rewire their brain pretty much in a month. So I totally feel like in the flow with life, and and I'm really feel powered to create what I desire. So one last note is your mindset determines your assets. And I like to continue the conversation. I am so grateful that I'm here with you today and share my story, share some tools with you. I hope that it was impactful, that you will gain some value out of them. I know that we covered a lot of ground, so drop your email below. I will love to send you the process we talked about, the questions, and then I have also the framework that I use to create new beliefs, how to change your beliefs. Very simple process that I include in that document. So if you're interested, drop your email and I'll send that to you. So that's it. And of course, there's my phone number. Of course, all for having this conversation continue. Please reach out. All right. So any questions?
Yeah, Sue, that was really fantastic. And again, I'm so glad that we could figure out a time for you and that we've had so many people join. I'm so grateful that you're all here. And yeah, any questions, please feel free to either raise your hand or I'm okay if you just come off, unmute and ask. Thanks for putting in all your emails over there too. Great.
Yeah, let me see if I can share that.
I have a question for Sue. Softball question, maybe. Do you agree with the statement, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate?
Yeah. So I know my NLP folks in the group. Yes, I do. If you guys follow, for example, people always ask me like, what books should I read? Who should I follow? Right. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, who has spent quite a bit of time researching this brain and how that connected to how we create our reality. Bruce Lipton. I mean, there's so many people out there that, doctor degrees and experiences talking about this. So I'm not the only one. So yes, unconscious mind is so powerful, right? 95% our power, brain, the reality that we want to create. Everybody talks about, years ago, I kept listening to people, they would say, oh, you can create your own reality. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, what is the secret here? Secret is not the secret. We all know the answer to the secret now, right? I just share with you. So to understand that you can tap into your unconscious mind and build that rapport, right? We have that we're given this kind of beautiful equipment, our brain, but we haven't given the manual. It's almost like in a Ferrari, and now you can't okay, well, how do I drive this thing? Right? How do I turn it on? Right? It's like that. It's like we have this powerful equipment, and then we don't know how to use it. And that's what I'm obsessed about. That's what I've been studying for 12 years. And yes, everything changed for me once I understand how I need to work on my emotions and my beliefs. And that, because emotions are stored with every memory that we have. And if you have a memory that is very strongly charged and you have not released it, it will show up. And you can see the patterns. But again, if you're not tapping into that power, that pattern's not be that obvious, right? Did that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sue. You completely crushed today. Thank you so much. I really loved every second of it. And thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you so much.
And by the way, we are going to be StreamYarding this very, very soon. As soon as we get our hands on the video, we're going to blast it back out and really share it with everyone. It's too valuable not to share with the world.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so humble. Thank you. And that fills my heart because I'm here to help as many people I can. I struggle so much. I'm like, oh my goodness, like 12 years. It took me 12 years to start creating change in my life and wealth and all that. So I'm like, nobody should be suffering like that. none of us. So secret is not so much secret, right? So yeah, please share, please do. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of books and authors that you recommend, are there any podcasts that you recommend? Some people are like, oh, I don't have time to sit or read a book. I don't really love Audible. What podcasts I can wrap my head around? So is there anything you would recommend there?
They have podcasts. I mean, if you're really into this mind stuff and you're feeling an experience of like, I need to change something, I would start with them. You can sign up for their email, their podcast. YouTube is a really great resource. I would start with those two individuals because there's so much stuff out there. Be careful what you listen to, but those two are very good options to start. And, I know that it's going to be very valuable as well, just starting with them.
And you said Bruce Lipton, right?
Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Despenza.
Hold on. Okay, hold on one second. I got to share. Let me see. Dispenza, Dr. Dispenza. Let me see.
I put Bruce Lipton over in the chat, and then once we figure out how to spell the name, I'll put Dr. Joe Dispenza in as well. And then when we're all done today, I'm going to save the chat as well as have the recording. So, anything that you have that's worthwhile throwing in there, questions or otherwise, please feel free. Like I said, you can type your questions, you can raise your hand, you can just unmute and see.
Yeah, I will, like I said, that 1 hour strategy session, it's not a sales call. I'm so passionate about helping others, that, just free, just get on a call and, we can come up some plan for you, very customized, because everybody's different, right? We're all wired different. Why? Because we all have different experiences, right?
Hey guys, I did take advantage of that opportunity, and I can tell you, I promise she is 100% correct. You'll get an insight from it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Douglas. Yeah, so please don't feel like, I set aside some time, of course, for this. So it's not like, imposing anything. So love to carry the conversation, continue the conversation, maybe clarify some things. Some things are, like I said, this experience I had when I was growing up, it was before I released the emotions, I couldn't even talk about it without crying or breaking down. And now it's obviously having that breakthrough session, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I really understand why those things happen in my life, how that connects to my purpose now, what I'm doing with real estate, what I'm doing as a coach. Like they say this, everything just kind of connects like a puzzle, like boom, 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 everything plugs into place. You're like, oh, okay, I get it now. So, and I understand something is hard to talk about things, and maybe better talk in a private setting. So love the chat.
Sue, did you feel like when you started to work through this process, were you already investing in real estate before?
It was before. Yeah. So it's a really good question, actually. A little bit of story there, not long. 15 years ago, my husband and I, we did Robert Kiyosaki, right? You guys familiar with Robert Kiyosaki? That he had a program. You could go in, and we were like in this room where everybody was rushing in the back to sign up for this program. We were one of those people. And we even got his the game is called Cash Flow, and we would make our daughter play Cash Flow game. And we couldn't make that work. Like we did other businesses after that too. And after my breakthrough, looking back, I was like, oh my goodness, like I had money blocks. I had blocks that was like preventing me from seeing how I can make things work. It's not the strategy, right? It's so hard to understand. We're doing things, we're so wrapped up in like, I'm taking action, I'm signed up with this program, I'm doing this, but yet Tony Robbins says this, the game we're playing, 80% mental, 20% strategy. And that 80%, when you figure it out, man, watch out, right? That's what happened to me. I was like, oh my God, like I had limiting beliefs, I had emotions, I had all these baggage, all this stuff, and everything was released. I was like, whoa, clarity, confidence, everything fall into place. And then, we started getting the real estate, and now, we have properties and all that. So yeah, so it's a great question. Thank you. Yeah, that breakthrough is a powerful tool.
Oh, that's amazing. And for most of your clients, do a lot of them do real estate, or are they businesses, or are they just anybody that's in search of just having a mindset coach?
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in real estate, operators, investors, because I identify with, obviously, this is my tribe, right? You guys are my tribe. So I truly believe in surrounding myself like-minded people and people that I feel connected to. In my struggles, I had some personal struggles, but with money, with wealth, how to generate wealth. That was a really pain point for me. So that's what I identify with. So yeah, real estate investors who wants to really create wealth for themselves. Maybe perhaps they invest in an education and they still not have a property. It's like wondering, what the heck, right? Like, what's going on here? That was me, like, try so many different things. And when I figured out that 80%, which is mental game, everything changed for me. So yeah. Oh yes, cash flow. Yep. My kids love it. Yep. It's a great game. Yep.
Okay, good. Any other questions? I see a couple extra people on camera, so I didn't know if maybe you had questions. Anybody else?
Hey, Sue, this is John. I just wanted to comment. I think that everything you said is really spot on. I think it's all about a positive mindset in anything we do, whether it's with our family or business, our professional relationships, our faith, and how we kind of carry ourselves. I really like the fact when you talk about have to put things into perspective to be thankful. I tell people, write down the 3 things that you're thankful for each day, because I think that just gets you started with just a positive mindset to move forward. It gives you kind of the confidence to really, feel like you can take on your day, and it allows you to handle those stressful situations, to kind of use your, maximum brain power rather than being kind of overwhelmed with stress and anxiety and depression, and that just really beats you up so that you can't come to any situation to give your 100%. So I appreciate you sharing that. It's really important. I think, the more we can do that, the more we can kind of build that into our daily routines. Makes all the sense. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Gratitude is one of my included in my practices. And I think that, I made that mistake when I was first starting out many years ago. I was like, okay, law of attraction, I'm going to do affirmations. I'm going to get up. I'm going to talk about, okay, I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am. I was doing all these things. Well, it didn't work. I was not abundant. I was saying I'm abundant, right? So there's a difference between saying certain things to condition your mind, but also understand what's lurking around unconsciously, because that's where you run into issues where it's not believable. Unconscious says, oh yeah, you're saying abundant, but you have money blocks, you have wealth blocks, you don't believe in yourself, you don't feel worthy. That was my issue. I didn't feel worthy because when I was younger, I was told, oh yeah, your mom left you, nobody cares about you, blah, 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 right? So like, I was like, oh, I'm not worthy. Subconsciously, unconsciously, I was like, I'm not worthy, but consciously, 5% consciously, I was like, I'm abundant, I'm wealthy, I'm growing, I'm making progress, like all of these things. And it was wobbly, right? Like some days I was having a good day, but again, my results really didn't match what I wanted to create. And that's because I was not congruent with my beliefs, who I was, and my value system. So yeah, so everything is just comes into play, just not just one thing, right? Like people talk about, oh, just do affirmations, just do, say, be grateful what you have and all that. That's important, but it's the whole package. You have to understand everything and how everything connects. And that is what I'm talking about here. I hope that you take that away today to know that it's every single piece we talked about today is what we need to really pay attention to and put into practice. And that's what creates the change. So thank you. Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
And any other questions?
Yeah. Having boundaries, especially when you have control. Yes. Recognize your triggers. Yes. I talk about that with my clients when I coach them. There's another webinar there. Maybe I can come back for that. But yes, how do you appropriately, because some of these boundaries we have to set is people are really close to us, right? It's so tricky. How do you set a boundary with someone that you truly love? How do you do that, right? Energetically, how you show up. And there's externally how you set the boundary. There's a step process. I teach my clients, and then energetically, internally, how you show up, and that sets another boundary. So combine both really helps you set those boundaries. But yeah, that's a really great point, John. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Yeah.
Shared, sorry, it was not letting me come to you. I just shared, I think 2 or 3 days ago, and I can go back and try to find it if anybody's interested, but about what successful entrepreneurs, like the number one thing successful entrepreneurs did, and it was set boundaries. And yes, you still want to be a go-giver and do all those things, but just knowing like when you can't, give more of yourself, and really setting those really strict boundaries.
Christina, can I add a comment on this that I think you'll love?
Yes.
Warren Buffett said, the difference between successful people and very, very, very successful people is very successful people almost always say no.
But how do you say no?
Ah,
Right?
say it nicely.